Have you ever noticed this? You lie down at night. The lights are off. The phone is finally quiet. But somehow, your day is still with you. Not the whole day, just the unfinished parts. The conversations you replay, the things you should have said, the moments you wish had gone differently. You're tired, but sleep doesn't come. Most people think they can't sleep because the day was too busy. But often, it's not that the day was long, it's that it never ended.
No one ever taught us how to close a day. We just collapse into the night and hope our bodies will shut down on their own. But the nervous system doesn't work that way. It needs a signal, a clear message that says, nothing else is required of you now. Tonight, I want to share something very simple. Not a meditation, not a belief system, not something you need to do perfectly. Just a 15-minute ritual that gently tells your body, today is complete. And if you stay with me, I'll guide you through it slowly, so that when your head touches the pillow, you don't bring the whole day with you, only the quiet that comes when nothing is left to carry.
There's something very strange happening in this world. We've never lived as comfortably as we do today. Beds are softer. Homes are quieter. Air conditioners regulate the temperature. Sleeping pills, sleep teas, sleep music. Everything is available. And yet, people are sleeping worse than ever. In the US, millions of people go to bed every night, not with a sense of letting go, but with a familiar question in their minds. I wonder if I'll be able to sleep tonight. That question alone is enough to push sleep a little farther away. In the past, when the sun set, people also grew quiet. If the body was tired, it slept. The mind didn't have too many places to run. But today is different. We're no longer exhausted from heavy labor. We're exhausted from too many things at once. Too much information. Too many choices. Too many things to think about for tomorrow. And too many things we haven't managed to put down from today.
The body lies still, but the mind doesn't know how to stop. I once spoke with a woman. She was a nurse at a large hospital. Every day, she cared for many patients, helped them rest, reminded them to sleep early, advised them to protect their health. But every night, when she got home, she was the one who couldn't sleep. Not because she was in pain, not because of noise, but because when she closed her eyes, all the faces from the day appeared. The shifts that didn't feel complete, the if-only moments, the worries about tomorrow. She once said very softly, I can take care of so many people, but I don't know how to let my own mind rest. And here is something important that very few people realize.
Insomnia today is not a sleep problem. It's a problem of inner overload. We are living in a world where the mind is never allowed to finish a day. Work follows us home. Messages follow us to bed. Unfinished things follow us into our dreams. And then we're surprised when sleep doesn't come. There are 3 very common types of insomnia that most people have experienced, even if they've never named them. The first type, difficulty falling asleep. You lie there, eyes closed, but thoughts keep linking to thoughts, as if your mind is running a race with no finish line. The second type, waking up in the middle of the night. You sleep for a while, then wake up at 2 or 3 a.m., and you don't understand why your heart feels so heavy. The third type,
Sleeping enough hours but not feeling rested. You wake up more tired than when you went to bed, as if your mind never truly let go all night. 3 different forms, but the same root. The mind doesn't feel safe enough to rest. Our biggest mistake is thinking, if I try a little harder, I'll be able to sleep. But sleep is not something you can force. It doesn't come from effort. It comes from permission. Just like you can't force a lake to be still, you can only stop throwing stones into it. And here is a small lesson to carry with you from this part. You don't lack sleep. You lack a safe place inside for your mind to land.
When the mind is still running, a bed is just an object. Only when the mind stops does the bed become a place of rest. So the next question is, what is keeping our minds from stopping, even when the body is already exhausted? What is happening inside the nervous system, inside the stream of thoughts, each time night falls? Right after this, we'll go a little deeper together to understand how the sleepless mind works. And once we understand, we won't have to fight it anymore.
There's something very subtle that few people notice. When you can't sleep, it's not because you're thinking about too many important things. It's because your mind doesn't know how to stop when there's nothing left that needs doing. It's like an airplane that's been flying all day, but when night comes, it can't find a runway to land on. And so it keeps circling, until you're exhausted. The human mind was born to solve problems. During the day, that helps us survive, helps us work, helps us make decisions. But at night, that variability becomes the reason we can't rest. Because the mind can't tell the difference between a real danger and a looping thought. To the nervous system, an unanswered email and a predator hiding in the shadows can sometimes produce the same stress signal. I once met a man in New York. He worked in finance. During the day, he was very alert, very logical, very controlled. But when night fell, the moment he closed his eyes, his body would tense up immediately. Not because he feared anything specific, but because there was always a voice in his head. What about tomorrow? What if I'm wrong? What if I miss something? He once said, "No thought is big enough to be called a problem, but no thought is willing to disappear." That is the moment the nervous system gets hijacked. When thoughts repeat again and again, the brain sends a signal that says, "Not safe yet, not finished, can't rest." The body hears that and responds with loyal obedience. The heart beats faster, breathing becomes shallower, muscles refuse to let go. And sleep, which only arrives when the body feels safe, quietly stays outside. The sad part is, most of us try to solve this by thinking even more. We lie there, trying to find answers to everything. But have you noticed, no one has ever solved their life at 2 a.m. Night is not for understanding. Night is for letting go. There's a very common misunderstanding that many people carry for years. If I think it through enough, I'll feel at ease and be able to sleep. But the truth is the opposite. The more you think, the more the nervous system believes you're still in a situation that requires vigilance. And when the body is still vigilant, sleep has nowhere to stand. The lesson from this part is very simple. Sleep doesn't begin when you find the answer. Sleep begins when you allow the question to stay unanswered. You don't need to solve your life tonight. You only need to allow your mind to not have to do anything for a while. And there is a very natural way to help the mind understand that now it's safe. Not through thinking, not through analysis, but through something as old as being human, returning to the present moment. Right after this, we'll explore together a very simple skill, long forgotten: how to let the mind land without forcing it to stop. Let's go a little slower from here.
Something very strange happens when night falls. Everything outside seems to stop. The streets grow quiet. Emails stop arriving. The world stops demanding. But inside, the mind begins to wander. It goes back to the past. It rushes into the future. There's only one place it rarely stays. Right here, right now. Modern people have learned many skills: planning, optimizing, strategic thinking. But there is one ancient skill, once completely natural, that has now been almost forgotten: to be fully with the moment that is happening. Not thinking about it, not judging it, just being there. I once spoke with an elderly woman in California. She was over 70. She said her sleep was the most precious thing each day. When asked for her secret, she simply smiled and said, "Before I sleep, I don't bring tomorrow with me. I don't bring yesterday either. I only bring my breath." No lofty meditation, no complicated method. Just knowing she is lying down, knowing her body is touching the bed, knowing the breath is coming in and going out. The present moment has a very special power. When you are truly in the present, the mind cannot worry at the same time. Because worry always lives in the future. Regret always lives in the past. Only the present is where the nervous system can rest.
But why do we forget this? Because we've grown used to living as if this moment isn't enough. We keep thinking, once I finish this, once I get to that stage, once I understand more clearly, then I'll be at peace. But the body doesn't live in once. The body only lives in now. There's a very common misunderstanding. Many people think that returning to the present means pushing thoughts away. But no, the present doesn't need you to fight. It only needs your attention. Attention to how the blanket feels on your skin. Attention to the rhythm of the breath in your chest. Attention to the very real tiredness that is present in your body right now. When you pay attention, the mind naturally softens.
Like a child whose hand is being held. The small lesson from this part is, you don't need to take your mind anywhere. Just let it stay. Stay with this breath. Stay with this body. Stay with this moment. No need to be better. No need to go deeper. No need to be more correct. Just be here. And when you begin to do that, something very important happens. The body starts to realize it no longer has to stay on guard. Nothing to run from. Nothing to fix. Nothing to solve. Only life, unfolding in quiet simplicity.
But a gentle question still remains. If the mind keeps returning, if thoughts still come to visit, what do we do then? Right after this, we'll move into something deeper. How to create a feeling of safety in the body, even when the mind isn't completely calm yet. Let's keep going slowly, one small step at a time.
There is a word that often makes many Westerners both curious and cautious. That word is karma. Many people think of it as something distant, connected to past lives, the universe, or an invisible hand keeping a ledger of mistakes. But if we peel away all that fog, karma is actually very close. It isn't in the sky, it's in your nervous system. Think of a very familiar evening. You lie down in bed, everything is done. But in your head, you keep replaying a conversation, a sentence you shouldn't have said, an email you sent while irritated, a moment you acted in a way that didn't match your values. No one is punishing you, but your body can't sleep.
That is karma, in the simplest sense. Karma, on a psychological level, is simply an inner consequence. Every thought we repeat, every emotion we keep feeding, every behavior we allow ourselves to do, leaves a trace. Not in the universe's account books, but in the body's emotional memory. I once met a man who worked in finance in New York. On the outside, he was successful, high income, a stable life. But his sleep was terrible. When we talked more deeply, he said something very honest. "I'm not afraid of failure. I'm just afraid of being alone with myself at night."
He had grown used to forcing himself, saying yes when he wanted to say no, making decisions against his conscience, just so he wouldn't fall behind. During the day, everything still ran. At night, the body started to settle the account, not with dramatic pain, but with a quiet, lingering tension, with a heartbeat that wouldn't slow down, with shallow, restless sleep. The biggest misunderstanding about karma is thinking it's a punishment. In reality, it's more like feedback. Like when you place your hand on a hot stove, no one is punishing you. The body is simply saying, "This isn't safe."
When you live for too long out of alignment with yourself, the mind may get used to it, but the body doesn't forget. The small lesson of this part is, peace doesn't come from doing everything right by society's standards. It comes from not betraying yourself. When your words, your actions, and your inner values begin to drift apart, the body will be the first to respond. Not through reasoning, not through judgment, but through insomnia. The good news is, karma isn't something to fear. It's something you can recalibrate. All it takes is one small change, one moment of telling the truth more fully, one moment of stopping instead of forcing, one moment of choosing kindness toward yourself. The nervous system will register it.
And gradually, the nights will feel less heavy. But there's something subtle we still need to understand. We're not always conscious of the burdens we're carrying. Many things don't live in thought. They live deeper, in the memory of the body. In the next part, we'll go one layer deeper. Why the body can remain tense even when we feel we understand, and how to create a true sense of safety within it. Keep going slowly. Your body is listening.
There's something very few people notice. Deep sleep doesn't come only from worrying less. It also comes from carrying less heaviness in the heart. Not heavy because of work, not heavy because of responsibility, but heavy because of the very small things we left unattended during the day. Think back to the last time you truly slept well. Not too many dreams, no waking in the middle of the night, no feeling of being pulled back by thoughts.
If you look closely, nights like that often come after a day that was very kind. It doesn't have to be a perfect day, just a day when you didn't hurt anyone, including yourself. I once met a nurse in Oregon.
Her work was exhausting. Night shifts, high pressure. But strangely, she slept very deeply. She said that every evening before leaving the hospital, she had a small habit. If that day she had snapped at someone, she would go back and gently say, "I'm sorry, I was tired." If she saw someone feeling down, she would rest a hand on their shoulder for a moment. No need to say anything. "After I do that," she said, "I don't have to bring anyone with me to bed." This is something neuroscience also agrees with. The nervous system truly relaxes only when there is no quiet moral conflict underneath.
You may forget a sentence, but your body remembers. A moment of unkindness, a time you ignored your conscience, a moment you knew you could have done better, but didn't. All of it leaves behind a very small noise in the nervous system. During the day, that noise is covered up. At night, when everything goes quiet, it begins to echo. A common mistake is thinking, if I'm tired enough, I'll sleep. But the body doesn't only need to be tired, it needs to be clean. Clean here doesn't mean perfect, it means not carrying the feeling of an inner debt.
The small lesson in this part is, when the heart is light, sleep becomes deep. Not because you accomplished a lot, but because you lived in alignment with yourself. One small act of kindness may not change the world, but it changes how you lie down each night. And the most beautiful part is, kindness doesn't need to be grand, it only needs to be real. A timely apology, one moment of choosing not to say what would hurt someone, a decision that doesn't betray your values. These things won't appear on your CV,
But they are written very clearly in the nervous system. And when the heart begins to feel lighter, a new question appears. If every day leaves a trace, if the body remembers everything, how do we close a day completely so we don't carry anything into sleep? In the next part, we'll step into a very simple, very ordinary ritual. How to end a day so the nervous system knows everything is done. Let's keep going slowly. The night is softening.
There's a very common misunderstanding when people talk about pain. Either we run from it or we glorify it. But both approaches make it harder to sleep. The truth is very different. Pain is not an enemy, but it isn't a hero either. It is simply a teacher who doesn't know how to speak gently. Think about physical pain. When you place your hand on something hot, pain appears immediately. It isn't trying to insult you. It isn't trying to teach you some lofty lesson. It's only saying, stop. Emotional pain is the same, except that we often try to explain it instead of listening. I once met a man in Texas, in his 50s. He had struggled with insomnia for years after his divorce. Not because he still loved her, not because he was still angry, but because he couldn't understand why it still hurt so much. I should have been stronger, he said. I should have gotten over it a long time ago. But that very should was what kept him awake every night. A very common mistake is this. We use logic to force pain into silence. We say to it, this isn't a big deal. Other people have it worse. Don't be weak like that. But pain doesn't disappear when it's ignored. It only changes location, from the mind down into the body. And the body answers with tension, fatigue, and insomnia. To understand pain doesn't mean to love it. To understand pain simply means allowing it to exist without adding judgment. That man eventually learned something very simple. Every night, instead of trying to sleep it away, he placed a hand on his chest and whispered, "Yes, it still hurts today. And I'm still here." No analysis, no fixing, just acknowledgement. And strangely enough, when pain is acknowledged, the nervous system stops staying on guard. It no longer needs to scream. It no longer needs to wake you up in the middle of the night. Like a child who only needs to be seen. The small lesson of this part is, pain doesn't need you to be strong. It needs you to be honest. No need to turn suffering into some grand meaning. No need to say everything happens for a reason.
Sometimes pain is just pain. And what heals is not abandoning yourself in that moment. When you stop fighting pain, something very important happens. The body begins to believe you are a safe place. And when the body feels safe, sleep comes much more easily. But there is still one last question before we close this journey. If every day contains worry, mistakes, pain, and incompleteness, how do we end a day without carrying all of that into bed? In the next part, we'll enter a very slow rhythm, a letting go ritual at the end of the day, so both body and mind can know that today has been enough. Keep going slowly. The night is growing deeper. Perhaps there is no word that tires people more than forgiveness. Many hear it and immediately tense up. Because in their minds, forgiveness means accepting injustice, allowing someone to keep hurting you, or telling yourself everything is fine when it isn't. But that isn't forgiveness. That is endurance. And endurance never leads to peaceful sleep. Forgiveness, if seen clearly, is not an act for someone else. It is a decision not to let pain keep living inside your body. I once met a woman in Seattle. She had been betrayed in a long relationship. It ended a long time ago, but every night she still woke up at 3 a.m. Not because she missed him, not because she wanted to go back, but because the anger refused to leave.
She said, "I don't want to forgive. If I forgive, am I not saying what happened was acceptable?" This is a very common misunderstanding. Forgiveness is not a declaration that what happened was right. Forgiveness is saying, "I will not allow this to keep taking up space in my nervous system anymore." You can forgive and still keep boundaries. You can release anger and still not return. Letting go is not opening the door. Letting go is closing the door inside. Neuroscience shows when we hold on to resentment for a long time, the body lives in a state of vigilance. The heart beats faster. Breathing becomes shallower. The brain stays in defense mode. And a body in defense mode cannot sleep deeply, not because it doesn't want to, but because it doesn't feel safe. That woman eventually didn't begin by forgiving the other person. She began with one very small sentence said to herself each night. That happened, and it no longer has the right to steal my sleep. Not forgiveness yet, just taking back power. After a few weeks, she realized she no longer replayed the story every night, not because she forgot, but because her body was no longer being held hostage. The small lesson of this part. Forgiveness doesn't make you weaker. Holding resentment is what exhausts you. Forgiveness is the act of someone strong enough to say, "I choose peace, even if this isn't fair." And one important thing to remember, you don't owe anyone forgiveness, but you deserve peaceful sleep. Forgiveness has no deadline.
No formula. It doesn't have to happen in one night. All it takes is a small intention. I'm not bringing this to bed with me anymore. When resentment begins to leave the body, a space opens up. That space is not loss. It is room for quiet to return. And then, only one final step remains. How do we close a day in a complete way so both body and mind know there is nothing left to do, nothing left to think? In the next part, we'll enter the end-of-day ritual, a very gentle way to say to yourself, today has been enough. Let's keep going slowly. The night is almost over.
There is something deeply human that we rarely notice. We don't lose sleep because too many things happened, but because we're still trying to control what has already happened. During the day, control helps us survive. We plan, we manage time, we solve problems. But at night, that same habit keeps the mind from stopping. Because night doesn't need solutions. Night only needs permission. I once heard an older man in Arizona say something very simple. All my life, I've been used to fixing everything. When I lie down, I realize there are some things that don't need fixing anymore. He had been an engineer, skilled, precise. But his sleep only truly returned when he learned something very hard: to let everything be exactly as it is. There is a common illusion. We think that if we think long enough, we'll find the answer. But the nervous system doesn't work like that. It doesn't become calmer with more thinking. It becomes calmer when it's no longer being forced to change reality. Notice this. When you breathe deeply, but in your mind you're still thinking, I have to sleep. I need to sleep. Why am I not asleep yet? The body tightens even more.
But when you exhale and quietly think, it's okay if I don't fall asleep right away tonight, I'm still here, the nervous system begins to soften. Not because you've given up, but because you stop resisting. A very common mistake is this: confusing acceptance with surrender. Acceptance is not saying, whatever, forget it. Acceptance is saying, this is what is present, and I don't need to fight it anymore. A mother I once met in Minnesota said that after giving birth, she suffered relentless insomnia. She tried everything: apps, medication, advice. Until one night, completely exhausted, she whispered, "All right, let it be like this tonight." Not giving up, just stopping the forcing. And that very night, for the first time in months, she slept for a few hours straight. The small lesson of this part is, peace doesn't come when we control the night. It comes when we stop fighting it. The body doesn't need you to win. It needs you to soften. When you can accept that today wasn't perfect, emotions are still here, thoughts still come to visit, and you still allow yourself to lie there in stillness, the nervous system understands there is no danger. And when there is no danger, sleep begins to come.
Now we've moved through many layers: the wandering mind, inner consequence, kindness, pain, forgiveness, and releasing control. Only one final thing remains. How do we close a day in a complete, gentle way, so body and mind both agree it's time to rest? In the next part, we'll step into an end-of-day ritual, not elaborate, not religious, just enough to say to yourself, today, I did my best. Stay here. The night is touching the deepest quiet. There is a very fragile moment between day and night. It's no longer daytime, But it isn't quite sleep either. Most of us move straight through that moment without stopping. We turn off the light, put the phone down, lie in bed. But the mind hasn't come home yet. A nighttime ritual is not for doing more, it is for ending, for telling the body, today is finished. I once met a man in Vermont, a retired high school teacher. He said that for many years after retirement, he still slept poorly. Not because I still have things to do, he said, but because I never said goodbye to a day. When he learned how to end his day, sleep began to return. This ritual is very simple, not religious, not philosophical. It takes about 15 minutes. You don't need to do it perfectly. You only need to do it honestly. Minutes 1 to 3. Stop. Sit or lie still. No music, no screens. Simply notice. Today has ended. If unfinished tasks are still in your mind, don't chase them away. Just whisper, tomorrow we'll handle it.
Minutes 4 to 7. Notice. Gently ask yourself, what made me tense today? What warmed me today? No analysis, no fixing, just noticing. Like watching clouds pass a window. Minutes 8 to 11. Release. If there's something you didn't do perfectly, say softly, I did my best with what I had in that moment. If someone upset you, simply say, I'm not bringing this into my sleep. No need to forgive completely. Just set it down for now. Minutes 12 to 15. Close. Place one hand on your chest or on your belly. Feel the breath. Whisper one simple sentence. Any sentence that feels true for you. Today is enough. I am safe. I allow myself to rest.
Just one sentence. Repeat it a few times. The most important part of this ritual is not the technique. It is the message sent to the nervous system. There is nothing left to do. Nothing left to fix. I am allowed to rest. When the body receives that message, it doesn't need you to force sleep. It knows how on its own. The small lesson of this part is, sleep is not something to achieve. It is something that happens when you stop carrying the whole day with you. Maybe tonight you won't fall asleep right away. That's okay.
As long as you have ended the day. And that already is a very deep kindness toward yourself. Now, there is only one last thing to do. Not another technique, not another lesson. Just stay in the quiet you've created. In the final part, we'll close this journey with a very gentle reminder. You don't need to become someone else to deserve peace. Stay a little longer. The night is ready to hold you.